The mind believes that the goal is to get something you like and get rid of something you don't like. And as long as we're associated with the mind and identifying as the author of the thoughts and the subject is talking about, then we will believe that it is we who need to get something and get rid of something, and that's why we're here, or at least that's our operating structure. That's our organizing principle. Consider that we may be here for a very different reason. The reason I just mentioned is when we're called to the trial. When we're called to the bardo, then we are here. Our operating principle, our organizing principle is to hold space. To hold space for the thoughts that say you need to get this, you need to get rid of that. The thoughts that come that have desire and aversion. Holding space for the emotions that come up, which are either generated by thoughts or explained by thoughts. And it's challenging, it can be challenging to consider that your actual purpose and the purpose that will bring peace is one that isn't about getting or removing anything. It's not about doing anything. It's holding space for the idea to do, prevent, cause, change, keep, get something. It's so simple, so formless, so amorphous, so subtle that we don't gravitate toward it. And the mind can come in and say, yeah, that's all fine spiritual language, but there's a future concern. It could be about rent, could be about loneliness, could be about legacy, could be about alleviating suffering in the world, could be about generating meaning of what's happening, could be about vindication for past mistakes or past opinions, could be about preventing the inner critic. All these are worthy. By holding space for these thoughts, we're not saying they're not worthy. But by turning it around such that our goal is not to be called to the trial, but to be called to the bardo, willing to return to the trial, we're reorienting ourselves to the present moment. And if this were fully absorbed, then one could be present, appreciate not knowing, have unconditional positive self-regard, because in the act of holding space for thoughts and emotions, that's very close to having unconditional positive self-regard, unconditional self-acceptance, because you're the space that's holding these things. If we're here to make this moment about this moment, and the only way to make this moment about this moment is to be holding space, to have that yin quality, and yet at the trial, the summer, the day, there's no yin in the chart, right? When energy is rising in the spring, and energy is falling in the fall, when energy is rising in the dawn, and it's falling in the fall, and the sunset, then we have a little bit of yin. Yin may be being pushed out by yang or edging its way in. From the bottom, it moves, but the real challenge comes when we are in the imagination, when we're in Sphere 9, when we're in the trial, and to hold space for the imagination, but to not be identified with the thoughts, not be claiming authorship of the thoughts, to hold full presence for that. And typically when we say, whoops, I wasn't present, and then we tune in, thoughts don't come. If we tune in, if we're really trying to be receptive, then the thoughts, which I associate with yang energy, imagination, don't come. And that's fine. They can come if they want. This is not a game about making the mind empty. This is not a game about judging thoughts as good or bad. This is simply a game of paying attention, being there, awake at the wheel, And as the thoughts, which are, you could say, are objects coming at you, or moving away from you, or to the left or right of you, or above or below you, they're welcome to come. We're just saying, I'm going to be awake for it.